Yeah, yeah, real rock stars miss their son's birth to do something they could have done any other day. Literally any other day. Okay, Carti. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Music Gauntlet channel. I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far, and today we are finally going to talk about the latest album from Playboi Carti called Lotta Red. I know this album has been out for more than a month now, but I'm just catching up on albums that have been coming out, and really, to be honest with you guys, there hasn't been many that I've wanted to cover. There was at least going to be Certified Lover Boy this month, but considering that got pushed back, there's really nothing that's been happening straight out the gate, so hopefully this year picks up with music releases. But I personally can't complain because it's giving me time to cover this highly anticipated album from Playboi Carti. And highly anticipated might even be an understatement. A hip-hop artist coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, Carti was known for his more abstract take on trap music. And there seems to be two people on the spectrum of Carti, those who appreciate the abstract art that he's making and see it as genre-pushing and revolutionary, and some people that view it as an abomination to the genre due to how minimalistic it actually is. And where do I fit in on that spectrum, you may ask? Probably somewhere in the middle. I can appreciate what Carti's trying to accomplish, adding his own flair to a pre-existing subgenre, as we've seen most exemplified on his 2018 project, Gauntlet. A project that, to be honest, I didn't like at all when I first heard it. But I credit that first reaction to me listening to it while I was working out, and Gauntlet's not the album you should be really lifting weights to. However, upon my friend convincing me to re-listen to the project again, I found myself enjoying a lot more than I thought I did. And Fell in Love, honestly, is one of my favorite songs of all time. Pierre was on one with that beat work. But despite all that, there seemed to be a lot of downtime, much like his first project he released, which is why I classify myself as being in the middle of the spectrum, because there are a lot of songs that I enjoy by him, but there are also a lot of songs that I don't really care for. It's probably a 50-50 split with his whole discography. But through constant leaks and hints towards the album's release, we're finally gifted with Whole Lotta Red, which just so happened to come on Christmas. I'm not sure any hip-hop project has been more anticipated than this one here. I mean, Eternal Take is up there, but at least Uzi dropped it within a reasonable amount of time, with fans salivating to get a taste of what this album sounds like, and just having the general curiosity of the public as to what direction Carti was going to go in. What did he deliver on Whole Lotta Red? And honestly, I'm a little shook. I was not expecting to like a Carti album this much. There are some flaws, we'll get into that, but I'll be damned if at first this album was just kind of okay to me, but it grew on me after every listen that I've had. It made me want to actually come back to it with certain tracks. I'm actually extremely grateful I had all of January to sit with it, because if I reviewed it right out the gate, then I probably would have just said it was okay, better than I thought it was going to be, but nothing mind-blowing. And while I still wouldn't say this project is absolutely extraordinary, I would go as far as to say I'm impressed with how Carti is expanding his sound, not only with the production, but vocally as well. Even though there are a range of sounds on this project, they're seamed together extremely well. If you came up to me and said, okay, on the new Carti album, Kanye is going to executive produce it, I would be like, I don't know how that's gonna sound. I think Kanye's gonna take too many liberties and put Carti too far out of his element. And I don't know how much involvement he and Matthew Williams had with direct production for this project, but the soundscape for Carti on this project is almost flawless. He sounds so good over these beats. They're perfect for him. A lot of the time I was getting PTSD to playing Monster Bash on Apogee and that thing crashing every 30 minutes just trying to get through one fucking level. It can be haunting and nightmarish at times, but it's also framed in this 8-bit video game, if not more retro than that. So it has a playful edge to it as well, which I think was extremely intelligent for him to do. The whole idea of Playboi Carti is a rapper that doesn't take himself too seriously. He can rap about topics like homicide in the ways in which he dreams of it over an extremely aggressive beat, but that beat also has a video game lens over it to soften the blow. It's the difference between seeing a boss in high definition and seeing one in 8-bit. It's going to be scary either way, but one's a lot more easy on the eyes. I mean, the track Over literally sounds like the opening screen for the Sega Genesis. There are a range of producers on this album that I will post here. The producer Filthy on this project though really came into his own. He's done some work with Yachty and Uzi before, but nothing that was too stand out to me. He hands down had my favorite beats on this project though. It's crazy that there's this many producers for the project, but yet it fits together so well sonically. I don't know if it was warranted to take as long as it did, but you could definitely tell there was attention to detail when it came to how this project sounded outside of Carti. He's the kind of artist that needs engaging and out-of-the-box type production, so I'm so glad he was able to find that and even furthermore help that advance his sound. Because yes, the production does help aid in this feeling, but Carti is giving a performance of a lifetime here, sounding like a mix between a vampire and a gremlin. He's giving this album his all when it comes to his vocal delivery, and I mean that. With extremely high energy and rapping over 808s that are distorted and grimy as f***, Carti opens the project with Rockstar Made, in which it sounds like he's on stage running out of breath singing this chorus as he's jumping around and having a mosh pit. It honestly reminds me of a song that would have made it onto Uzi's initial projects, but on steroids. On Stop Breathing, again, we're getting these heavy 808s with some laser-like synths, and this track is so damn hard. Him talking about avenging his brother through means of homicide, to having ghoulish ad-libs that sound like he has gremlins by his side just cheering him on as he raps, to literally just breathing on the track and making it sound just as hard as the rest of it. Now this is the kind kind of Carti I would weightlift to. And Metamorphosis, man. Has anybody thought to rap over Kid Cudi's hums before? Because this is the first time I'm hearing it, and with these layered synths as well, it sounds like Carti is an absolute god. Wow. It's distorted and reverbed in a way in which it probably shouldn't work, but it does because it's not so over the top where it's annoying. Cudi's whipping out those Man on the Moon 3 flows, just coming in as smooth as butter, perfectly complementing the ideas of not being pigeonholed into one thing and being a constantly evolving artist. This energy and care for individual songs, along with dynamic niche production, is what makes tracks like New Tank, Meh, and On That Time such a pleasure to hear. I know a lot of people didn't like how he incorporated the very generic vampire theme song into the track Vamp Anthem, but it followed sonically with the video game theme, and it also was called the Vamp Anthem for a reason, so it didn't bother me at all. Shit, I even found myself enjoying when he got more melodic on this project as well. Exhibit B of moments on this project that people don't like but I do, X with Future.
I'm gonna X, I'm gonna codeine.
Trust me, I get why somebody would hate this song. Sonically, it's pretty piercing and it gets kind of repetitive, but that chorus is catchy as fuck. And that beat work is so addicting. It's like you took the ice cream truck theme song, you took some Percocets and LSD, and you took some hi-hats and snares and put it all in a blender. That's Teen X. It's almost so ridiculous that they know it's ridiculous, him and Future, but they own it. They own that shit. You take out fake academics on the track Control, and you have a pretty good track as well. The trickling arcade-like production is the perfect backdrop for Carti to spill his soul, talking about how he can only change so much for a certain person because he knows his limitations as a human being, detailing his want to be married due to the solidified love that possesses, however, at the same time, not trusting his human nature to follow through with staying committed to somebody. It's a good thing these songs are fiction. Moving on. And it's not a full-on melody, the track Sky, but I feel like I have to mention it at some point during this review, so now's that time. This is one of the few songs where he's throwing it back to his more die-lit-esque Playboi Carti. Glitchy synths, some snappy hi-hats, and of course, Carti comes through with an extremely catchy chorus that rivals Teen X for being my favorite on here. If it wasn't already made obvious with the lyrics, this is a great song to start your day with and put you in a positive mental state to just kill shit. I've gone back to this song a lot since the album release. And I really like content-wise how he finishes out this project too. Not only does Die For My Guy make me feel like I'm playing a Castlevania level, but it also serves as a moment where he's paying homage to his brother, saying that he's so appreciative of him being there for Carti throughout the years that he's going to die being close with him. He's never going to let him drift away. Not playing is Carti celebrating making it past his struggle, although still staying strapped just because that's the paranoia that's been embedded into his brain. And Feel Like Dying, like, I could have done without this track, honestly. It wasn't a bad closer because it still touches on Carti's emotions, but come on, this is stretching it too far with the melodies. I've been all across the world. He sounds like a cat that's drowning. And let's make that the transition into the cons of this project, because there being 24 tracks, of course there are gonna be some duds. There's a bit of an issue with sequencing on this project. I'm usually not a stickler for this kind of thing at all, but how are you gonna go from a track like Stop Breathing into Bino or Benno? Like, those are polar opposites with tone. You just injected your listeners with sonic Adderall with the track Stop Breathing. Why are you slowing down the pace of the album so much immediately after? Same thing with Go to the Moon. Why right after Rockstar Made? Doesn't really make much sense. I love the vintage strings that come through on this track. I gotta assume that's Kanye's touch. And everybody's been saying it, and it holds true for me as well. Why is Carti only rapping for 28 seconds of this song, including the times when he's saying Go to the Moon at the beginning of the verse? It didn't even need to be that lyrical. I mean, less lyrical than Carti's known to be, but he just needed to pop off for like 30 more seconds and it would have been fine. If you asked me what one song would I want to get rid of on this project, I would say Jump Out the House. I cannot stand that track. The chorus is repeated way too many times. Carti is trying way too hard with his inflections on this track. It for sure sounds like a demo that should not have made the end product. And if we're talking about demo throwaways, I guess we'll go ahead and mention Place, the only Pierre Bourne beat on here, unfortunately. It's grouped with those songs that sound like they're from the Die-Lit era Playboi Carti, and it's just not that lively or engaging. It just sounds like he hit up Pierre and was like, hey, do you have a recording from our Die-Lit sessions? Yeah, send it my way. I'm just gonna tag it onto this project so I can say I got you on here. And that idea rolls into my overall thoughts on the album. Carti isn't scared to venture outside of his comfort zone. He's just smart enough not to for a whole album. This also plays into why the project is so long as well, not to a fault, but by design. He was gone for only 2 years, yes, but for his kind of style of music, it felt more like 3 or 4. This is an opus of risk-taking, but playing it safe, knowing that after all this time, a packed LP was going to be the best way to get the best possible outcome. Please the already established fan base with tracks they'll love and recognize, recognize, like Sky and I Love You, I Hate You, while also pushing the envelope to not sound blasé with ghoulish tracks such as Stop Breathing and On That Time. I think it's more important here to focus on the highlights because an hour and 3 minutes of Playboi Carti, of course there was going to be some downtime. It's impressive that an artist like Carti can find new ways to branch out and evolve their sound. He proves that there's really no reason why other artists can't be doing the same thing. If somebody of such minimalistic stature as Carti can do it, why can't somebody else? There's always going to be new ways to grow, you just have to find those avenues and experiment. And for Carti, that was going full-blown vamp rockstar on this thing. From the sonic cohesion to Carti's charismatic energy, for the most part I think he accomplished his uphill goal of entertaining for 24 songs, while also making it a bit of a curveball. Maybe Whole Lotta Red wasn't exactly what you were expecting, but I definitely think it delivered on the surprise aspect. I'm enjoying this project, I think Carti did his thing, and hopefully the next project is taking even more risks. I'd love to see what he draws up. But for now, I got a whole lot of good tracks I can return to. Now this is the part of the video where I rank this album out of the rest of Playboi Carti's discography, and God, was this a hard one. I went back and forth with this one so many damn times, it was driving me crazy. So for the sake of my own mental health, I'm going to say that my #1 favorite Carti album at this point is now Whole Lotta Red. And at #2, I'm going to put Die Lit. However, I'm going to put a disclaimer here, okay? On any given day, if I'm in a better mood, I'm probably going to listen to Die Lit. If I'm feeling more destructive and, I don't know, egotistical, then I'm going to listen to Whole Lotta Red. It really comes down to my mood, which album I prefer, and definitely not a cop-out. And by default, in my 3rd place, I'm going to have to put the self-titled project, Playboi Carti. I'd like to meet the person that puts self-titled over Die Lit or Whole Lotta Red, or both. Not to rag on them, just to get their perspective. I think that'd be really interesting. If that's you, leave a comment in the comment section. I really want to talk to you. And for my top 5 songs from the project, I will take Stop Breathing, Metamorphosis, Teen X, Let's Go On That Time, and Sky. And that is all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way into the end. If you made it all the way into the end, you know I truly appreciate that. If you guys thought this album was worse than I thought it was, better than I thought it was, let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description, and we can talk about it there. I have some more content coming, some of which is going to be me trying my hand in something new, so just bear with me on that. And that is officially all I have for you guys. If you want to leave a like or subscribe, you know I'd appreciate that as well, and I'll see you in the next one.
I feel like these other artists are not like 100% on their creativity ways.
Right.
I come out with some shit and then I inspire them, and then shit get back to how it should be.
I love it.